So the subject matter for this particular soap and the soap challenge is really impossible for me because I have a relationship with this subject matter in multiple mediums. And for that reason, this one was kind of tough for me to decide what my ultimate design should be. I am going to tell you all about my ultimate design and my inspiration and why this particular subject matter is so important to me in just a moment. But before I do, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You're at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things. And you are here for day 361 of 365 days of soap. Whew. That's a thing. And yeah, we are doing Amy Warden Soap Challenge for the Alice bar. I'm doing Alice. So this is actually like a current challenge, right? For April. And I am going to be tackling Alice, and tomorrow Georgia May will be tackling Charlie. This was a two-parter for the Soap Challenge thing. Yes. Now I'm doing Alice, and Alice is very complicated for me because I love Wonderland just across the board. In original book form, for sure, Lewis Carroll is delightful. Love him. In the Disney cartoon, yes, for sure. The way that they did Wonderland within the Once Upon a Time series on ABC, right? They had like that whole season of being in Wonderland. That was cool. Video games. One of my favorite video games actually ever in the history of ever is looking at like the Dark Alice and like the madness side of Alice. And so for that reason, I have a lot of different versions of Alice in Wonderland that sort of just exist in my brain, just sort of compiled and shoved together. Because then there's also the Tim Burton version of Alice too, right? Like there's a lot. And so I didn't exactly know where to go with this one. But then I saw on YouTube as I was just scrolling through, Tree Marie Soapworks recently did a Chevron design in a slab mold. Beautiful soap, like such a gorgeous soap. And it was so lovely as I was watching her make it that it made me want to make dividers. I don't do dividers. But watching her video made me go, yeah, I'm going to do dividers. I'm going to do the damn thing. And I will be doing, like a Cheshire cat. So that is what we are working with today. The scent blend that we are working with from Maple Street is Wintergreen Spearmint. And it is very, very potent, incredibly potent. And so I'm nervous to see how it soaps. So you get to see how it soaps and all the cool dividers that I made and all the things, right now. So that title right there is actually just perfect. This we're all mad here at this exact moment as I am recording this, because right before I got on to start doing this, just finished up making some little cakes with the girls because we're doing a little nailed it, challenge tonight. And right outside of, my office at the house here, there are, 19 guys doing concrete, and it's madness, and the dogs are barking and the concrete is pouring and it's all insane. And isn't that the cutest thing ever? And yeah, it feels pretty mad right now. It is definitely a madhouse at this exact moment. Now, the Maple Street Candle Company, this Wintergreen Spearmint, so non-vanillin in this guy, and that's cool, but this is a very potent scent, you guys. Like, it is a Yeah, there's that. Okay. And I'm going to tell you exactly what all that means in just a minute, like when we actually get to the pour. But the scent, let's talk about the scent. The this particular wintergreen spearmint, it is incredibly potent. And full disclosure, I actually made my soap after the Soapprentice made her soap. And so I saw what it did in hers. And so as a result, I decided to reduce the percentage that I use this fragrance at. I cut it in half. So normally I put about 2.4 ounces to a batch about this size, which is around a 56-ounce batch in total. And I went with just 1.5 ounces in order to not have the problems that the Soapprentice had, which you will see, you know, tomorrow. But so my hope is the scent will survive saponification at these low percentages. And I think it will, because I will talk more about, you know, the Soapprentice's, you know, soap experience tomorrow. But based on her bar and all of the things, I think it's going to be, I think 1.2 ounces in this, soaping at rather low percentages, is going to be plenty for this particular fragrance blend. Now, I am, as you saw in the intro, and the We're All Mad here, and the title, and you know how to read things, doing the Alice bar. And I think that's actually a current challenge for April. We're not submitting anything, but I think that's currently where the soap challenge is. Like, I think this is actually a now challenge, which is super cool. That means we've gone through the entire catalog and we are at the end, which I am 100% here for. So I am doing the Alice in Wonderland bar for the challenge, and the Soapprentice will be doing a soap for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which is cool. But for Alice is tough for me. I mean, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory would be tough for me too, because of the same reasons that, you know, there are a lot of different iterations of Alice, as well as Charlie, really, over the years. There's the book version, and there are multiple movies and video games and all of the things for Alice. And so I was really kind of struggling with what I wanted to do for this design, because you can do a lot with Alice in Wonderland. I mean, just the theme Alice in Wonderland, that's an entire soap series. Like, you can do 10 whole bars without any problem whatsoever. And so I decided to go with a more Cheshire Cat type theme, and sort of combine kind of a dark Chesh that I know from Madness Returns, which is one of my favorite video games ever, and, you know, the first Cheshire Cat, which was, you know, the pink and the purple guy, and which I really love. Like, the Soap Kidlet #1, her first Halloween, she was 11 months old, her first Halloween, and she was dressed up as a little Cheshire Cat. I made her a little costume and did all the things, and she had this big fluffy tail, and it was awesome. But you see that we're already looking at some ricing going on with this scent. And again, I'm soaping at very, very low percentages. I would say I'm soaping it maybe at 3%. I think that's what that actually works out to. So not a lot of scent is going into any of these, and it's already starting to rice and get thick and weird, and that's actually problematic for the pour that I selected. And we will talk more about the pour that I selected and all of the things, but look at that ricing. Like, it's not going to be the pour that I wanted to do. Ultimately, it's not going to come out the way that my inspiration piece, this soap, went, really. But you know, it's all fun, and we're gonna do the damn thing. So let's go to the pour, and we can talk more about, you know, my inspiration and the pour itself and all of the things, you know, in the pour section. Okay, so now on to this pour, which is I hope I can get through before I have to go take the little cakes out of the oven. But this pour was actually inspired by Tree Marie Soapworks. About a month ago, she put up a video that was a Chevron swirl soap, and it was gorgeous. So while I was trying to figure out what to do for this particular soap for the Alice bar, her results in her pour, they totally looked like, with the right colors, it could be Chesh. And so I decided to do that, and so therefore I made freaking dividers. Now, actually, this was a suggestion from a Sudzer. Oh yeah, that is one of the things that Tree Marie did actually say in her video. Definitely go check that out. As you start filling your cavities, yeah, your dividers do run the risk of moving with the weight of the batter, you know, next to them. So it's best to not go every other like I did, and try to get at least a little bit of soap into every single, you know, cavity. And so that's kind of what I'm doing. But look at the ricing and all of the not funness that's happening there. My soap batter is already so thick. And so it's gonna be we're gonna do it as we can, really. But the back to the dividers, a sudser had actually commented on a video many moons ago and said that political signs work really well for dividers. And I was like, what a great idea. And I have so many political signs, and you know, what do you do with them? And so I cut up my most recent political sign and, you know, did it the little alcohol thing and wiped it down and all that jazz, and cut them up into dividers that are now, you know, usable over and over and over again, which I super dig. So I did that for this pour. You guys know how much I hate dividers, but this pour from Tree Marie, the Chevron pour in a slab, was so gorgeous and so, like, it was inspiring, and it definitely made me want to, you know, try to do this. And so I made dividers, and like now the detritus of the rest of my sign is sort of just scattered about, and I can't bring myself to throw it away or maybe make new dividers with it. So it's unfortunate that that's the case, and that's me, but end result, net, yard signs, political signs, they really do legitimately like make great dividers. They're very sturdy. You can get them in nice and snug. For the most part, they don't move. And so yeah, if you're interested in making your own dividers and not having to continue to make them over and over again with cardboard, and you don't want to pay for them, then yeah, you use a yard sign, because those are always aplenty. Now I need to go grab the cupcakes or the cakes out of the oven, because I just heard a beep. I will be back in just a second to talk about what this pour is supposed to do. Okay, back, and the little cakes are not quite done yet, so I have about 5 more minutes, and that's cool. So with this pour, as you could see, I separated the soap into 4 different colors: the purple and the pink and the black and the white. And the idea is the purple and pink sections, every other section, the black and white sections, every other section, and you're essentially just creating just linear, you know, passes, as you could see with everything that I did there, to fill all of the cavities. Now that does require a fairly decent amount of maths in order to ensure that none of the cavities are like underfilled, and so you know, all of that jazz. So that's what I have done, and so there's a bit of a thin lines kind of swirl going on. I mean, it's meant to be kind of a thin line swirl in each of the cavities, but since my soap batter was so thick, I really just have blobs of color. And then removing all of the dividers. No soaper will ever tell you that you should scrape off your dividers. They're like, oh yeah, no, just take them out. And I hate that. I hate wasted soap batter. So I scrape them off as I'm taking them out. And then another part of my political sign, I got to make a cool pull-through thingy that was also in Tree Marie's, you know, video, to essentially pull all of the colors into each other, but see how thick my soap batter is. And so I realized about halfway through that, oh shit, I'm actually moving all of the soap kind of to the middle and then, you know, to the end if I had continued. And so I took a different pass from the other side to go the length of the slab. And now I'm going to take it with all of the prongs down every other every third hole in the sign itself, and yeah, and pass it, you know, widthwise. So that is a big old mess. Like, it's crazy looking and it's just kind of wild. But, you know, again, go check out Tree Marie's. Her batter was fluid and beautiful, and so just watching that soap get skewered with this cool tool, it was delightful. It was so much fun, and I loved it was very therapeutic watching that. Mine is not that, because my soap ended up very thick because of this scent. And I knew that it was going to a point, because as I said, the Soapprentice had already done her bar before I did this one. But it would be weird to mess up the format and make her be the first one, since we haven't ever done it that way. So I'm showing you mine first. I knew it was going to get thick. I just did not think it was going to get this thick, having cut down the ratio as much as I did. Now I went ahead and skewered these little areas just to give me a guideline to where I would put the the little drink me bottles in. And this is just a little mold that I bought off of Etsy, and it's very multi-use. Like it has, you know, as you could see the mold at the very beginning, that little pink thing, it was has lots of different things in it. There's mushrooms, and there's hats and watches, and I already know that I'm using at least 3 more of those little things for other soap series that I'm working on for year 2. So it's definitely a mold that I will get use out of, which is cool because I've bought so many molds over the years that I use once and then forget about, and so that's like actually a waste of money. But this particular mold was like $5, and it was a lot of fun to work with and make the little drink me, you know, bottles for the Alice bar, really. And this will not get put in the oven for C-pop and gel because I do not want these little melt and pour embeds on top to, you know, melt. And so we can check out the cut, you know, right now, but now I really do have to go get the cakes out. So just a second. Okay, and on to the cut. Just got the little cakes out, and they're perfect. They're all spongy and delightful, and I can't wait to build things out of them in true nailed it, you know, style, because you know it's going to be a disaster. I'm me. But these soaps, even with the colors not doing, you know, what they, or the soap batter not doing what I needed it to do, because that scent accelerated and riced so quickly, there are still some legitimately cute soaps in this. Soap itself is a little bit soft because I really was soaping very, very... I knew that the acceleration was going to be a problem. I knew that it was going to get thick, and so I tried to hit it just barely an emulsion to help me, you know, get through a swirly swirl soap, and that didn't exactly work, but it also didn't not work. I mean, look at those 2 bars there. They're going to be super, super cute. I also love that this knife is so crazy and macabre looking, specifically for this bar, because again, combining like a black and white chesh like from Madness Returns with a pink and purple chesh from the original, you know, cartoon or whatnot, is very fitting that this knife is all weird and wonky, because that video game, Madness Returns, it's kind of dark. It's kind of and I love it. I love exploring the sort of like the madness part of Alice in Wonderland in general. And I think that starts to get closer to, you know, kind of my feelings on the book when I read it as a child. So it was a nice balance. And I think it's, you know, it's fun. And some of these bars, they legitimately, I think, obviously they're not nearly as pretty as the Chevron soap that Tree Marie did, but it was a fun pour for sure, and I am very much going to do this same pour with a better behaving fragrance oil to really get the same therapeutic relief that I am certain Tree Marie was experiencing when she did it. But that's a cute bar. You've got the purple and the pink and the black and the white all represented in some sort of kind of grinning type fashion around the bottles, and that's adorable for sure. And this particular pour, again, it does require dividers, but it was worth it for this one. Watching that tutorial, watching that video from Tree Marie, it really did inspire me to want to make dividers, and that like has literally never happened. In all of the years that I've made soap, I've never actively been excited to make dividers. Like, that's not a thing that exists in my life, because no, that's more prep work. But now I have dividers that work for like lots of things, and I will definitely, as I said, be doing this pour again to really get the full experience with a nice fluid batter. But even with a thick batter and having to kind of change things up on the fly, there's still cool bars of soap. Like, I'm still here for that, for sure. That is very, very cute. And again, we're not submitting these for the April challenge, but it was fun to participate in a current challenge, like, for sure. Going through the back catalog has been kind of crazy and kind of a big task that I guess maybe we weren't completely prepared for, but hitting the end of it, like this is the final, I love it. And I am excited that this was my very last one. That pepper green, that wintergreen spearmint scent from Maple Street, it is potent AF. Like, potent to the point where I was concerned it was going to be a skin irritant. It has not shown to be with my most sensitive skin people, but it's potent. So just keep that in mind if you're ever looking for a very, very potent mint scent for your soap lines. Yeah, so there it is. There's Chesh, and I really like the little bottles that I made to put on the top of those were super cute too. And I did not do the best job with that Chevron because the scent blend made this accelerate like a mother, and I was using half of the amount I normally do. To that, using half of the amount I normally do, wow, the scent sticking in that Batman. Like, it's still so strong after saponification. It's wild. This is a technique that I'm definitely going to do again though. A, because I just cut up one of my political signs to make dividers, and so now I have them. And two, because it's actually really fun, and I want to do it again, really. So yeah, I enjoyed the technique, which again had nothing to do with the soap challenge because there's no real information. It's not an actual challenge as far as like, this is the design you have to follow. It's just, this is the theme you're going to do. And so there's my Alice. If you're interested in seeing what Georgia May does for her Charlie bar, you should definitely subscribe to the channel. Come back tomorrow and check it out. That would be excellent. If you're interested in following me on social media, sure. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, absolutely. For those of you who are subscribed, thank you so much. Like, I know that I've been doing this and I'm just going to continue doing this. It is wild that we are at day 361. We are 4 days away from a years-long project of daily freaking content. And that's freaking amazing. Like, and you're the reason why I continue to do it. So thank you for being here and for being my sudser. I appreciate you forever. I'm out of here for today. Thank you again for joining me for another round of 365 days of soap. I will see you guys all again tomorrow. Bye.